Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Forging Fables. We are taking our talents to YouTube!
Whoa!
So, for those of you who don't know and have never seen a Forging Fables podcast, it'd be about the majority
Everybody.
of everybody. Aaron, so my name's David.
Nice to meet you, David.
We're so used to doing this as a podcast where our dedicated listeners know who we are, but, we're branching out.
Yeah. So you're David.
I'm David.
Nice. Okay.
And so who are you?
I'm Aaron.
Aaron. Wow, Aaron. Nice to meet you, Aaron.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me on.
So we created this podcast, I don't know, about a month and a half ago.
It's been a little bit long. I feel like it's been 2 months maybe now.
Oh, okay. Two
Either
months.
way,
2 months. Great. 2 months is great. But we had the idea of, well, maybe we should be on YouTube too, because
it's some video.
Yeah.
Would be nice. Part of it, I think what makes this podcast so funny is, well, I think this, but is some of our reactions to each other, and some of that's lost over just audio.
Yeah.
So, and YouTube's free at the moment. So
yeah.
So
for now. So, hey, we'll see. I mean, crazier things have happened.
It's true. It's true.
You always hear these people, who start something and it's like, yeah, I never thought it would get this big. Well, most of the time it doesn't, but,
Right.
sometimes.
So what we're saying is, look out, PewDiePie. We're coming for you.
If you want to be our first guest.
Yeah. So what is this podcast, Dave?
Well, that's a great question, Aaron. So, wow, it'd be nice if I had a formed opinion on what this.
Well, we're two friends,
Right.
who love stories.
Yep.
And so this podcast is us telling each other, usually, wild and wacky stories.
Usually, mostly poor.
Sometimes they're good.
Sometimes they're really good.
Sometimes
We've
they're
had
good.
some every episode has had a lot of that was a really nice moment.
Yes, there's a lot of the moments are key. Yeah.
We're not looking for a full 30, 40 minutes of really good content.
Right.
We're looking for 5, 6, 7 seconds of good moments.
Right. Right. So if we happen to, have a couple good moments this week, I feel like we've succeeded.
Yeah, that's all we're looking for. It's just a couple good moments.
Yeah.
So you can, if you want, we have previous episodes, 6, 5.
I think this is episode 5, I think.
I think this is 6.
This is 6? Okay.
So we should have 5 episodes up on, currently it's just on Spotify and...
Also Spotify, if you wanna sign us a big old chunk of money deal,
yeah,
we'd be down.
We'll get you 3 or 4 listeners.
Right. So yeah.
Anyway, it's also on iTunes podcast as well. So it's on both of those places. I feel like that encompasses a lot of the podcasting listening world.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, it's also on Castbox.
Oh.
So not available. You know how podcasts are always available here and here and anywhere else.
Right.
We're just available there.
Only
and there.
those 3. If you don't have those 3,
yeah.
Sorry.
So I guess now on YouTube.
Now it's on YouTube and maybe TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there'll probably be some clips on TikTok. So anyway, just to reiterate, we tell impromptu stories. We have this box of cards.
Woo!
Also, what is the brand?
They're called Storymatic.
If you guys want to sponsor us,
yeah, please.
Like I said, 3 or 4 listeners. Anyway, so we grab cards from this box and we make stories, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but it's always
fun.
They're always fun.
Yeah.
They are always fun. Well, I think I had
there was one that was a little depressing maybe at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes that happens. That's life.
That's life. And so Okay.
Moments of joy surrounded by moments of depression.
You really encompass all the ups and downs of life.
Yeah.
In this podcast. All right. Well, why don't we kick it off?
Well, I think it's your week to start.
Son of a gun! I got to deliver a high quality story here.
Yep.
It's the yellow ones first.
It's the yellow ones first. Yep.
That's so.
One of these weeks.
One of these weeks, we'll get it. All right.
So this is the fun part where I get to sit and wait for David to read his card and start the the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, let me just ruminate in these phrases
There's
here.
some great ideas, I'm sure, coming at you.
Wow. Okay. I've got it.
All right, I'm ready. Give it to me.
I've got it. Topeka, Kansas.
We're back in Kansas.
Why are we always in Kansas?
We're back in Kansas. Like 4 episodes we've been in Kansas.
There's been a lot of Kansas episodes. We had a cult that started in Kansas and migrated south to the end of South America.
Yep.
But we're in Topeka.
Topeka. We haven't been to Topeka yet.
So this is a totally different space. There's a government facility.
Oh, all right. In Topeka,
Kansas.
I like it.
And it's undisclosed.
Okay.
Area.
Little shady.
Area 661.
Area 61.
No one's trying to rate it.
There's no aliens there. Well, maybe we'll find out.
Anyway, Cynthia. It's her second week on the job.
Oh, is she a government employee?
She's a government employee. She's actually a specialist.
Okay.
She specializes in spiritual activity.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
So in this undisclosed Area 61, Cynthia is driving to work this day, and she had, when you start a new job, it usually takes, a couple months to really get the hang of it, depending on what you're doing.
The drive or the work, you mean?
The work.
Okay, yeah.
It shouldn't take a couple months to get to work.
Well,
That's how you get fired. Maybe it will one day. Maybe, like when we're in outer space, it'll take a couple months. Like,
could be, yeah.
I guess maybe. Well, that's probably a couple weeks, like truck drivers.
Right.
That's a couple days to a week or whatever.
So she's getting used to her job.
Yeah, she's getting used to her new job, and they always, they tell you a bunch of stuff, and they just expect you to remember everything, but
it's like the airline. The people are like, do this.
Oh yeah. It's like if you sit in these seats, you have to do these 3 things, and you're like, agree?
Yeah.
It's like, I just want the extra space.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she has been told a lot of important words and phrases that she needs to know.
Okay.
And hold on, let me just get a couple.
Oh, there we go.
Just, for good measure. All right, so she's been given a couple key phrases to get into certain sectors of the building.
Oh, right. Okay. So she's got some clearance.
She's got some clearance. She can actually go as far as she wants because the
whoa.
Yeah. As deep as Area 61 goes, she's got that kind of level of clearance, which is
she's like a boss.
She's not a boss. She's a consultant.
Oh.
but she needs to know everything because she's
she's Cynthia.
She's Cynthia.
She's got to know.
And the U.S. has got issues.
I mean, who ever thought that the U.S. had issues?
Run rampant throughout the great state of Kansas, specifically the hot spot of Topeka.
Yeah.
that bustling.
We love you, Kansas.
Urban epicenter of Kansas. How many people live in Topeka? Never mind.
I don't know.
Anyway, there has been a slew of spiritual activity. There has been
like ghosts.
There's some. The speculation is, I'll let you in on kind of how the higher ups are thinking, is that the veil between realities has been torn.
Whoa.
And now you have kind of these spiritual, mythical Krampus. There is the belief, the speculation that Krampus is afoot.
Holy crap.
I know. And so they're bringing in Cynthia, an expert in spiritual and what would you call it? Krumptology?
Yeah, that's sure.
That'll be in the title of this.
Krumptology.
That is funny. That is
good,
funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, a foremost expert in Krumptology, Cynthia. So she's in this meeting, and she's debriefing the government Krampus, and obviously there's skeptics in the building, and
right.
and no one necessarily believes that Krampus is afoot.
Well, so what? I mean, what's leading her to believe that Krampus is here?
Well, for starters, it's the 10th of December.
Oh crap!
So, well, actually, there's a date that Krampus is supposed to show up. It's the 10th.
Is it?
The 10th of December. So there's these very obvious signs of Krampus's
like presents, but they're not good.
Right.
Presents.
Exactly. So children go missing.
Oh my god.
I think that's actually.
I did think you're right. I just wasn't prepared.
Children are going missing. Christmas trees are wilting.
Oh wow.
Christmas cheer is at an all-time low. Consumerism's doing just fine, but the Christmas cheer is down. Anyway, so she's laying out these facts. She said that something like this happened in Germany a couple years back.
Okay.
Things got out of hand, and there was a cover up.
Government cover up.
A government covered up. They blamed it on nuclear power plant, but really it was.
Some children went missing. It was the
so it starts with the children, but eventually, the surrounding society, it falls into chaos.
Oh my gosh!
And everything really starts burning. So
it's just like literally on fire.
Literally on fire. It's not a great time. So she was brought in there as a consultant. Now she's here in the United States.
We got to stop this. We got to stop this before Topeka burns.
Yeah, and she's telling them right now, this is your last chance.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrifying. If you want Topeka, Kansas to be here after the holidays, you need to act now. And she begins to tell them that there's this really important word that they need to know. That's kind of like you could call it, what is it, garlic?
Like a safe word?
Yeah, well, not... I guess a safe word. Well, but not like
it wards off.
Yeah, it wards off Krampus, but she just for the life of her can't remember the word.
She didn't write it down anywhere.
She didn't. Well, it's not exact. It's not English. It's not German. It's a very.
That's probably whatever that language is that Krampus speaks.
Yeah, whatever Krampus is in Krumptology, his native language. So she just for the life of her can't remember the word.
That's terrible.
And it just so happened that that December 10th was the night of the full moon as well.
Oh.
And so this is kind of where, you really can't, like a person, you can't wait any longer because Krampus becomes 3 times as strong when there's a full moon. And this happens once every 346 years.
A full moon?
Not a full moon, but the full moon that lands on December 10th.
Ah.
Yes. So and as you all remember, 367 years ago, you remember the chaos of that year. And so
right. Obviously.
Duh. We talk about it all the time. So she is in this meeting and she is just drawing a blank. And they're getting frustrated with her. It's like, you have to, are you going to tell us this word or what? They begin to think she's a quack.
No.
It's like Krumptology's not even real.
I don't think she's going to get fired, man.
She's not getting paid.
Oh.
So it doesn't really matter to her, but her sister lives in Topeka, Kansas.
Okay, so she's got some personal stakes.
So she's got some personal stakes here. Her sister doesn't believe a word she says.
Oh, man.
Even though one of her 4 children has disappeared. Jimmy's just at a friend's house, she tells Cynthia.
He's been there for weeks.
For weeks. It doesn't matter. Samantha and Cynthia, Samantha the sister, obviously. And so she just, for the life of her, cannot remember the word. And so eventually it's like 30 minutes until, sundown. And she's like, screw it. I'm out of here. I can't remember this word for nothing.
She just leaves.
She just leaves. And she goes to Samantha's house. But the house is quiet. Krampus is in the house.
What?
He has devoured the other 3 children.
What? I thought they were just missing, but then
he didn't devour.
He didn't
eat them. He put them in he's got a bag called the devouring bag.
Oh.
And so there's just 3 children in this large Santa-like sack.
I thought they were dead.
Well.
Oh.
So anyway, Cynthia comes face to face with Krampus, like she did 5 years ago in Germany. And she just cannot remember this word. And Krampus is talking to her in his native language, and she's
how's it going?
She's it's like growls and snarls and unintelligent speech because she can't understand it. But she still just cannot remember this word. And finally,
come on, Cynthia, you can do it. No, I believe in you.
And finally, she gives up and she begins to cry, and she's weeping, and Krampus is coming to devour her.
Oh no!
He's gonna slip the bag over her, and she's gonna be lost for forever. Oh my God! And little did she know, Samantha is her sister is on the way back.
What?
From Pilates.
Oh my God!
She left the children home. Samantha comes in the driveway and she's opening the door, and Krampus is just about to get Cynthia when Samantha comes in, and she just blurts out, "Garbage slobberderber!"
Oh my God!
And Krampus begins to shrink. And he shrinks down to his not benign, but his
like a little,
he shrinks down to his harmless form of being an earthworm.
Never heard that part of the story.
and Cynthia with wiping away the tears in her eyes, she goes over and just stomps the earthworm, successfully squishing.
Nobody ever
Krampus
before this ever thought of this.
Samantha just knew. Samantha just knew. She just. It's almost like Cynthia had telepathically given Samantha the words to say.
The bond of sisters, man.
It's amazing. The 4th child never returned, but the other 3 are fine.
Oh no! Wow.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's a little taste of what we do here.
That was right. Wow. Well, when you said Krampus, I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. I could tell we were gonna go somewhere.
We went somewhere. The only problem was
yeah. What were your cards?
My cards was a person who couldn't remember an important word.
Okay.
A person who couldn't wait any longer. A full moon and a last chance. I think I just didn't have that card that kind of wrapped it all together.
Yeah. I mean, you did a great job with what you got.
So.
Very, very nice, and I am really glad that we went back to Kansas again, because it wouldn't be
the same.
Oh, you know what?
Is that when moved on?
We it was bodybuilder.
Oh.
So I think we've been putting those back in the. So we'll have to pick from the middle.
Bob the Bodybuilder is from a previous episode.
Yes, go check out episode 5. I think it was. Ooh, all right. So we're gonna stick with the Christmas theme, I think.
Okay.
Christmas Eve.
Oh.
1847.
Of course it is.
London, England.
Ooh. Did they celebrate Christmas?
Yes. I don't think Christmas is a new thing.
No, I know, but do we really know the origin stories of Christmas?
You know what? I don't know. But for the purposes of this story, at least, we're going to assume that they celebrated Christmas in London in 1847.
I think they did.
I think they did. Little Jeffery.
Jeffery.
Little Jeffery. He's a lamplighter.
Oh.
It's his job to go around and light all of the there were still gas lamps at that time on the street. And so
those probably be pretty new, actually, wouldn't they?
They would have been fairly recent. Yeah. This, still mid-Victorian times. That was, you're still, you haven't really talked about electricity per se that much yet, but you're still using a lot of gas and coal and different things like that. Oil. Yeah, maybe it's oil lamps. It's a little Jeffrey. He's 9 years old. He's a young guy. He's very dirty all the time because he's from the lower classes.
Okay.
And he goes out. He has to go out every night, of course, to light these lamps. And he has to leave once it's dark or right before it's dark. And then he's out most of the night doing this, because then he's got to unlight them in the morning. So he's basically...
that sounds like a terrible job.
It's not great. It's not great, which is why they left it to 9-year-olds.
Well, it's a large working class. Because there's no labor laws.
Right? No, almost none. I don't, no. And, he goes, and unfortunately, though, for little Jeffrey, I forgot his name there for a moment. Little Jeffrey, he's a little bit of a slacker. And, he's behind on his work this particular Christmas Eve.
Because he has ADHD, right?
Yes. Undiagnosed because it was 1847 ADHD. And it's a bit hyper, but also a slacker. So
all those slacking hypers.
So anyway, he's going around and his mind is, of course, he's racing about all the Christmassy things that a child's mind thinks about on Christmas Eve. I mean, you've got all the presents that you might get the next day. The Santa, I think, is it's the idea of Santa's there somewhere probably in the world, and he's got a lot on his mind.
Right.
He's got the Christmas spirit, and unfortunately, his boss is not as thrilled with Christmas as he is.
You don't say.
And so little Jeffrey, he's going around, he's lighting his lamps, and his boss, unbeknownst to him, comes up behind him and gives him a right slap across the face. The back of his head. Oh, yeah. And he says, "Hey, Jeffrey, well, you're slacking tonight as always. Get to it, or you won't be home in time for Christmas morning." And Jeff, sorry. He goes and he tries to hurry up. Well, anyway, he makes his way down Pressfield Street.
Oh.
And now there's one house in particular on Pressfield Street that it's a beautiful, it's actually one of the most beautiful streets in the area that he does his lamps. It's a little bit wealthier people live there. It's very well decorated for Christmas. There's wreaths and garlands all over the place. Lots of red and green mistletoe. And there's just a slight sliver of snow across the entire place.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful. And he's lighting his lamps, but there's one house in the middle of the street that is pitch black. There's no lights on it. There has never been. All the times that he's been a lamplighter, he's never seen a single light in his house. There's never been a single person going in or out of the house. There are no Christmas decorations anywhere to be seen. And there's no snow on this house.
Ooh.
Very odd.
Very odd.
Well, anyway, as little Jeffrey is passing by this house for the first time in the 2 years that he's been lighting lamps almost every night, he sees movement from the upstairs window of this house. And he thinks to himself, I think that was a child. Not unlike himself. It was a very brief glimpse, but there was a very soft roundness to the face. Definitely not as tall, not an adult for sure. And he says, "Man, that's very strange." And he feels this kind of draw to go and check it out because he says, no child should be alone on Christmas.
Of course.
So he carefully opens the gate, it creaks open, and he walks up the brick stairway, knocks on the door, and nothing happens. There's no answer, nothing. So he knocks again. Still nothing. Well, he's not going to be stopped by a door.
Of course.
So
Jeffery.
He decides to go to one of the side windows and try to see if it's open. And of course, it is open. It just lifts right up, and he crawls inside. And wouldn't you know, the inside of this mansion, this large house, is completely dark. Again, no lights, and just dust everywhere. It looks like this place hasn't been touched in 100 years. The furniture is there, but it's all covered in those white blankets and things that you'd see.
Very typical.
Yeah, very maybe stereotypical. and it's it's a little eerie. It doesn't appear to be anybody, so he starts to call out, hello, is anybody there? Hello. And all of a sudden, he hears the most peculiar sound. And what he doesn't know is this sound. What he would recognize it as some kind of a bell ringing.
Christmas bells.
Possibly, that floats. The idea floats through his mind. What he doesn't know is that it is actually a telephone ringing.
Ah.
Now, of course, telephones aren't invented yet, so he has no idea what this is.
Of course.
But it rings, and again, with the thought of Christmas bells through his mind, he goes to explore it, and he kind of picks it up. By the way, it's 3 a.m. And
by the way,
I mean, just throwing it out there. He picks it up, and he kind of instinctually. I mean, if you see what those phones look like, the little two pieces that you have to hold on to, he kind of instinctively puts it up to his ear and his mouth, and he goes, "Hello, hello," and all that comes back is a low moan, the most surreal moan, a moan of pure, just supernatural, of supernatural beings, of course.
Of course.
And he's, of course, terrified. Immediately, he drops the phone. It goes clanging all over the place, and he bolts it for the front door. He tries the door. It's locked. He can't get out. He goes back to the window that he came in through. It's now closed and won't open. He goes to the next window. Same thing. He tries every window on the first floor. All locked. He cannot get out.
Bum, bum, bum.
So anyway, he says, well, I'm here anyway. And there is that child, I think, upstairs.
Of course.
So he decides to go upstairs. And
maybe they're stuck too.
It could be, right.
Could be.
That's probably, this child came in, the same idea of him, and he goes upstairs, and the large staircase of wooden staircases creaks and moans as he climbs upstairs, and he turns the corner into a bedroom, and it's a very nice bedroom, except of course it's full of dust and looks like it hasn't been used for many, many years. And in the corner of the bedroom is one small candle lit, and he goes up to it, and he slowly picks it up, and he looks at it, and he says, well, this is odd. Well, it's just this one candle lit in this room. So he goes, and he walks over to the window of where he saw the small child, and he looks out the window, and I mean, there's nobody in the room with him. He looks out the window. There's a few people in the street. There's another boy in the street there, and he walks. He says, "I don't know where the small child is that was in here." And so he goes around back past the stairs into the other side of the house, and again, there's just nobody there. But he says, "How strange that I can't seem to find this, this child that was in here, but I must escape. That is my new goal. My one goal now is to escape.
Sun's
I gotta get back to those. I gotta get back to my lamps. It's only 3 a.m. He's still got to light the rest of these lamps, and it's Christmas Day. He's got to get home to open whatever measly presents his parents have, putting together for him. Probably just a bunch of carrots or something. I don't know. So, so he goes and he starts to go back towards the stairs, and all of a sudden, he hears a knock on the door, the front door. He says, "What?" And he listens for a second. There's another knock on the door. So who possibly could be trying to get into this house?
Right.
Who, and obviously they don't have a key because they're knocking on the door. And all of a sudden he hears one of the windows slightly open. He goes, "Oh crap! I got to get out of here." So he bolts it down to the other side of the bedroom where he was, and he tries to open one of the only windows in this room. It doesn't open, but he's so terrified that he says, "I have to get through this window. I have to get out." So he breaks it. He puts his whole arm through the window. Gets a little bit cut, but not too bad. He's all right. And he looks down over the edge, and there's a big pile of snow there that he says, "I got to chance it. I got to jump. That's the only way. They catch me in this house. You know what they do to robbers in Victorian England? Not great things." Right? Maybe. It could be. I mean, he's a boy, but, at 9, you're basically a man already. So,
yeah, you only got a couple of years left.
Yep. So he jumps it. He takes it. He goes. He runs through. Jumps down. Lands in the pile of snow. And that's the last thing he ever sees.
What?
Everything goes black. And as his...
Not Jeffrey.
As his spirit begins to rise from his body, he looks back and sees his now lifeless body laying there in the snow. He can now float around he floats through the walls of the house. And you know what he sees? He sees himself climbing in through the front door window.
No way.
And he floats up to the top floor, and you know what he sees? He sees himself trying to escape out of the top window.
You're kidding me.
And if he had any notion of what a time loop would be as a 9-year-old in Victorian England, he would know that this house somehow has created a time loop.
Wow.
And that, in fact, the child that he saw in the window at the very beginning of the story was in fact himself.
You are kidding me.
Nope. And, little Jeffrey, he kind of starts to take this in. He understands now what's happened. And he goes he says, "Well, the only thing I can do still is I can go home. And I can have Christmas with my family." And so he floats down the streets of London back to his family's home. And he watches with a little bit of mourning in his soul as his family experiences Christmas together. And at least he's there with them, but he cannot fully experience Christmas with them. I was really trying to figure out how we're going to make this happy. How to give this. It just didn't work out that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was really good though. That was a very nice story.
Oh, thank you.
That was a very nice story. I didn't see the time loop. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Unfortunately, poor Jeffrey. Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's how it goes.
Those Christmas ghosts, man.
Man, I wonder, do you think it would have been different if he had entered the house on a different day?
It's tough to say. It's tough to say. I know for sure that this was one of the only times that somebody had gone into this house in the last few hundred years.
Wow.
So, if he had stuck around, if he had stayed around a little longer, maybe he ran into a few other ghosts. Who knows? But
wow. Okay. Well, congratulations on a story well spoken, sir. Yeah. That was I think that was a very complete story.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it ended not the best, but yeah. So I had Ghost as my first card, and then a Slacker. So those Ghost was kind of what was in my head as we started, and then Slacker and then phone call at 3 a.m.
That was tough.
That was like, we'll have to see. Which, thinking now I should have brought that back in at the end of, another one of those ways he could have seen himself in that time loop. That would have been interesting. But it does give a sense of maybe being a little bit of a timeless aspect to the house. And then escape is the final card, which really was pretty perfect.
Very nice.
So yeah,
a good collection of cards there, and you did a good job of putting them all together, and you got all your pieces in there too, because there was technically a phone call.
There was a phone call at 3 a.m. I wanted to make sure you knew it was 3 a.m.
Yeah, and by the way, it's 3 a.m. When all the lamp lighters are out.
Yeah, so there's 2 stories for you guys. One is a little bit happier. It certainly has a better ending. A child died. So
a child is lost.
That's true, right? I guess we don't know for sure.
Maybe it was Jeffery.
Both of our stories, a child disappeared or died.
That's not good. Leave the children alone, Aaron.
All right, next episode we stay away from
Not
children.
in Kansas. No disappearing children.
No police though this week.
No police. We had
a
couple weeks where there was a police officer doing something. Anyway, well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed episode 1 on YouTube, episode 6 in our canonical history.
Right. Are we just going to title this episode 6 on YouTube, or are we going to stay with episode 1?
Well, that's a great question.
Well, you'll know.
Yeah, whatever it says at the top of the video. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.